Again, thanks for coming back. Thank you for watching the previous videos if you have. If you haven't, how exciting for you that you have something utterly fabulous to look forward to. I watched the last video back this morning and I thought I'd just tag something on the end of that. I talked about my relationship with my disability and how that's changed over time. As a sort of part two of that, I thought it might be interesting to explain how my reaction to my disability has changed over time. After the initial kind of not wishing to accept what was happening period passed, and over the next year or two, as the consequence of my disabilities became more and more obvious in my day-to-day life, I would get furious, absolutely lose my shit and lose my temper, emotions flooding all out over the place, frustrations, anger, all sorts of things over the very smallest of incidents. If I knocked the salt over, the salt pot would get smashed, and little things like that. Naturally, almost over time, that has changed, and another very strong character trait of mine, which is humour, fortunately has risen back. I think it was lost for a while there. Actually, I think it was lost for a number of years. When I was a kid, when I was young, I adored getting into little bits of cheeky mischief and then sort of tickling my way out with my devastating good looks, charm and humour. That got lost, and fortunately it's back because it makes life a lot easier to deal with. So to be clear, I don't laugh or find humour in my disability, although it is fairly ridiculous. I find humour in the consequences, the scenarios that come up. I also find humour very handy to break down barriers when meeting people for the first time or re-meeting them after a number of years. There is a tendency for some people to get lost as soon as the disability rears its head. The pox on my eyes makes itself fairly clear and fairly obvious in relatively short order when meeting someone, just because of the nature of what it is. Sometimes that's almost a stumbling block that people can't get past. I think part of it is because they maybe imagine how they would feel were the roles reversed, how they would react, how they would cope, and then that becomes the only thing that they see. So I kind of try and break the spell by just relating in a humorous way something that may have happened, the tripping up of stairs and what happened, blah, blah, that sort of thing. It normalizes it and it brings me back rather than me being almost replaced by the disability. Whether that's the right way of doing it, I don't know. I'm sure other people have different ways of dealing with their disabilities. I can't speak for anyone else, and I wouldn't. So that's again, I thought that would just be a useful tag on to the last one. How I react to my disability has changed. If you were to come across me now, I would no doubt relate one or two ridiculous stories and then move on, because it is always there. It's not something that comes and goes. It's always there. So I had to find a way to cope, and humour was my thing. So that's what we do. There we are. I think that kind of wraps it up a bit, sort of. Never sure if I'm doing the connect correctly from what's in here to what comes out. Don't know if it makes sense. I'm not sure if it makes sense in there. Anyway, enough. Thanks for coming back. Hopefully you'll come back again. And see you next. No, don't say that. I won't see them. Just press the button. Thank you. Cheerio.